Hey everybody, happy Friday. Hope this message finds you well. Welcome back to my backyard here in Erin, Ontario. Yes, you can hear the tractors in the background, the lawnmowers going, people getting ready for a wonderful weekend. We've got the start of summer tomorrow. We've got Father's Day Sunday. But my point, my reason for coming out to you here late in the day was to tell you this story about a tomato that turned into a money tree for one individual. It's a great little story and I promised I'd share it, and here it goes. There was a gentleman by the name of Radiator Charlie, well known to be a tinkering kind of fella. Liked to, build things, find better ways to do things. He was a wrestler at one point in his life. He was a pilot, flew small planes in the National Guard. But he got his name Radiator Charlie for fixing radiators at the bottom of a big mountain in West Virginia where he settled, where the coal and logging trucks would go up this mountain, blow their radiators, and he'd be on the end at the bottom waiting to fix them and get them back on their way. But that's not the true pinnacle of why he was so successful and why we're talking about him today. You see, Charlie wanted to build a better tomato. That's right, a better tomato. And well, Charlie decided to go to work and do that. Charlie was a product of the Great Depression, so he saw a lot of families suffering, something like we're seeing now with the whole COVID pandemic. Charlie began with a single variety plant called the German Johnson, and he planted that in the ground, and around it would plant 10 other plants of different varieties, including beefsteak, Italian varieties, English varieties. And he would basically use a baby syringe, a baby's ear syringe, take out the pollen out of those neighboring plants, those 10 around it, and slowly insert the pollen into the flowering plant in the middle, the German Johnson. And eventually, he would get a plant, he would take those seeds, see how the tomato did, and he did this process for 6 years, rinse and repeat, trying to find the perfect combination of a little of one, of the other, a little bit more of the other. And eventually, 6 years later, he found the perfect tomato. It was big, it was juicy, it was meaty, it was red, it was gorgeous, lots of flavor, no seeds or less seeds, less acidic. And well, he decided to take it to market. So when he did, it was a hit. And he started charging $1 per seedling back then in the early 40s. You got to remember that's about the equivalent of about $18 today. And people would drive almost 200 miles back then to get these tomatoes. They were rot resistant. They were less disease prone. They could handle the cold better. I'm no gardener, but that's kind of what the main reasons were. And it's similar to a beefsteak today. Charlie ends up selling quite a few of these. And here's the point of the story. Charlie ends up selling so many that he actually pays off his mortgage in 6 years. His $6,000 mortgage back then in 6 years. Hence the term, the mortgage lifter tomato. Now this isn't the mortgage lifter tomato, I'm using this as a prop, but it was a funny little story that just came across my wife's vegetable garden where I am right now. She uses these little signs here that basically indicate what variety are in there. And I kept seeing this mortgage lifter tomato, and I couldn't figure it out, and I had to look and do a little bit of research in Wikipedia, and there was actually a recording of Charlie who's, back when he was 85, his grandson recorded his little bit of a story, and he talks about how he doesn't know why he was put on this earth, and some would argue it was to build a better tomato. I think it was there to help families, because in the end, his tomato idea, his desire to make something better, actually turned into a money tree for him, paid his mortgage off, but it also lifted, hence the term mortgage lifter, the mortgages off other farmers' farms that were subject to big debt during the Depression, small nurseries that were affected. They also were able to lift the mortgages off their property. So I thought it was a great little story. I've did a bit of a write-up below this video here as well if you want to get into the crux of it, but who would have known that a little tomato would become a money tree for this guy? And now that he's long gone, his legacy still lives on in the gardens of our homes here, especially in ours where we live in Erin, Ontario. So I hope you enjoyed that little story. Maybe you might find a way to build a better something in your life to build your own money tree and pay off your mortgage faster too. That's the goal. Anyways, have a great weekend. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. Stay safe, and I look forward to bringing another video your way sometime next week. Thanks, everybody.